All That's Left Unsaid by Tracy Lynn. It's coming out in September, and I so enjoyed this book. It's one that, I hand to someone and say, I'm jealous you get to read it for the first time. I love this book so much. It predominantly is told through the eyes of Key, a first generation Vietnamese immigrant. She's in her mid-20s. She lives an independent life in Melbourne, but she goes back to her small town in Australia when her little brother is suddenly killed, and there's a mysterious circumstance surrounding it. She doesn't really know what happens. And she takes it upon herself to really find out what happens. And she realizes either the police don't care or these people are too scared to speak up if they do know anything. And it really shows a vibrant and dangerous town that she's left through this lens of someone who has gone somewhere and come back. And it also talks a lot about like understanding your parents and seeing them through different lights once you're grown. And what I loved most about this book is that it shows what the first generation kids feel. They feel suffocation and this weight of taking care of their family. They have to be their translator, and they also have to be like this golden child, but society doesn't really always accept them no matter what they do. And it's really propulsive, and there's a little quiet mystery in there, but this one will have you turning the page.
Hi all, I'm going to talk about Long Path by Ali Wallach. I chose this book because if we look at the world today, it's really easy to fall into a what about me, what about next week, what about next year mindset. And that's because if we plan, it seems like we have some control over at least something in a world that's becoming more and more chaotic. And hearing predictions of a desolate future kind of causes us to all feel helpless and panicked and a sense of urgency. And it's not really what's important. Ali kind of forces us to look at what she considers important, and it is important, the long path. And that's not thinking about yourself. It's not even thinking about the person next to you. It's thinking about the people that are going to be here 200 years from now. And it feels foreign to even think on a scale that grand, but it's actually really grounding because being part of something so much bigger than yourself is really powerful. And I think we lost sight of that in a society that's so focused on self-interest. Why plan for 3 years from now when you could plan for 3 generations from now is one of her biggest arguments. And I think this mindset shift would benefit a lot of people. I can't imagine a more important book to have on the shelves right now that can help us all be more compassionate and cooperative and creative and ethical and inspired. This comes out August 16th.
Good Grief on Losing Pets, Here and Hereafter by E.B. Bartels. This is a poignant and personal account of loving and losing pets. This explores the singular bonds that we have with our companion animals and how to grieve them once they've passed. The author herself has had a lot of pets. It's a beautiful book, and she sort of talks about her life in her childhood and really bonding with animals. So she explores this theme of losing animals. As varied a bunch as they are, all the animals that she had as pets taught her one universal truth. To own a pet is likely to love a pet and more likely to lose a pet. So we have traditions to mark the passing of humans, but what about our pets? She takes us from Massachusetts to Japan, from ancient Egypt to the modern era, in search of the good pet death. We meet veterinarians, archaeologists, ministers, and more, offering an array of rituals from the traditional scattering ashes to the grand mausoleums to the unexpected taxidermy and cloning. And the central lesson here is that there is no best practice when it comes to mourning your pet, except to care for them in death as you cared for them in life, and to find the space to participate in their end as fully as you can. There's beautiful illustrations in each chapter opening. It's wry, it's big-hearted, and it's a cathartic companion through loving and losing our animal family. This is Good Grief, and it goes on sale August 2nd.